Fortune cookies followers, this is your astrology look at the week. We've got the South Node and the North Node on the move. They are going to be affecting everybody this week. Stick around for what's going on in the sky, all 12 signs, and we're going to take a look at Jared Leto, Hottie Magatti, who seems to be in a lot of hot water. I'll be right back. Hey, curiosity seekers! I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner and psychic for over 35 years, but I'm an astrology student as of 2026. So you guys are benefiting because I'm telling you what the weather is up in the sky and what you should wear psychically. So we're going to get right down to it. So let's start out with the big stuff. We always start out with what is going on in our world, and what we've got is the North Node is entering Aquarius, the South Node is going to enter Leo, the Sun is entering Virgo on August 22nd and 23rd. Hi to all my Virgos out there. Welcome, it is your season. Mercury is also going to enter Virgo on August 25th, and we're moving toward the lunar eclipse on August 27th, and that will be in Pisces. For all of you that were shaken up by the solar eclipse, remember that we got to go through the lunar one too. Where there's one, there's another one. So the North Node in Aquarius begins an approximate 18-month lesson about communities, collective power, technology, and truth that's moving through the networks of ordinary people. The South Node in Leo is going to expose the shadow side of celebrity, ego, performance, entitlement, hero worship, and all the beliefs that one special person should always command the room or the group. So we're going to see some crazy stuff. It's really the beginning of a major shift. We were in a phase of like, look at me, believe in me, follow me. That was that whole eclipse. The solar eclipse in Leo was like, here, ta-da, I'm here. We're moving into what does the community know? What does the collective know? And what happens when everybody starts comparing notes and talking together? Really, really curious stuff on here with some of the people that I know and in the Jared Leto world. So I think some weird things are afoot. So what's the good and bad on this, guys? So the good side is that we are encouraged to think independently, but still compare information. You know, we're still going to be doing our due diligence. We're still going to be kind of handling those sorts of things. We're going to stop giving powerful personalities automatic authority as well. So just because someone is a subject matter expert doesn't mean that we are going to be true believers. I talk about true believers all the time on my channel, and those true believers are ones that are not going to believe negative things about their heroes or the people that they follow and believe in implicitly. They're not going to believe everything. They really just need to be shown a lot of facts all at once, and even sometimes those true believers don't really come over to the other side. Venus in Libra is going to support a lot of diplomacy, which will help with that cooperation, productive conversation. So it may give a little lift. Once the sun enters Virgo, emotional theatrics start to give way. So we have to be a little bit careful about that. You know, timelines, facts, receipts, practical solutions, have those in order. Make sure, because they're going to kind of support us through that. So what's the bad news here, guys, for what's up in the general sky? Mars is in Cancer. I am a Cancer. It's not working out. Doesn't feel right. While Saturn and Neptune are also the retrograde in Aries. Mars is not retrograde in Cancer. Mars is direct in Cancer, but Saturn and Neptune are retrograde in Aries. So a lot of people may be acting out of wounded pride, fear, some defensiveness, maybe trying to prove themselves a little bit more. And then they insist like, well, I was just following my intuition. I was just going where I was led. So, we may get some of that stuff. It may be in action, and it also may be an excuse. The sun moving across the North Node in Leo can expose inflated egos, celebrity entitlements, and leaders who maybe have mistaken attention or loudness of crowds for loyalty and a true barometer of their popularity. So there's going to be some neat stuff going on there. Surprises in store for everyone. Old stories may suddenly look a little bit different when people start talking to each other. Some things may be uncovered. I hate to say that. People who controlled the narrative or who were dominant in the narrative may lose that control or that focal point when a wider community starts comparing their experiences. So sometimes we're going to see the devil get outed. Unfortunately. Technology, fan communities, group conversations, and independent reporting may become more powerful than those solitary gatekeepers. So there may be power in numbers right now, and it may be in your world. So take a look around you and the things that are happening. You may see some changing of the guard. So it's not downfall of celebrity or focal point. It's the end of unquestioned celebrity worship, which is very, very different. So let me know in the chat if you are having any experiences with that. And before we go on a little bit more, I just want to highlight the sodalite sphere that I have from Otter Spirit. Since I am a brand new astrology student, I have notes in front of me, and I'm working very, very hard on my delivery and my intuition and reading the charts that I'm drawing up. Solidite helps us think clearly and speak clearly. It does affect the throat chakra and the third eye chakra. So it supports beautifully in there. This is from Otter Spirit. I am a partner at Otter Spirit, and every purchase comes with one of these cards, which will give you all kinds of information about your purchase. You can shop by star sign or your rising sign or moon sign if you choose. You can do by month, you can do by gemstone, you can do by intention. So the website is really, really comprehensive. I am one of their partners, so you can shop at the link that is in the description of this video and use code FORTUNE20 for 20% off any purchase and FORTUNE30 for 30% off any purchase of $99 or more. So getting that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about some signs. So Aries, you're always up first. We always start with you. So the good that's going on with you, Aries, your future is opening up, but it's through friends, audiences, fan bases, professional networks, and community connections. So you don't have to do everything alone. Bring your tribe together. Ask your friends, ask your partners what you should do. Right now, my Aries is looking at graduate schools and a little bit overwhelmed by the process. But we're going to get her there with a little help from her friends. So if you're an Aries, I hope that you have a good friend set around you and that they are being supportive and that you're dipping into your community and professional connections for maximizing what you're trying to do. So what's the bad news for Aries? Mars in Cancer can make your tolerance very, very short. Your patience is thin. Old emotional wounds can come out, so you may be triggered by some things that people are saying or doing around you. Just try and remember that the person who said the original thing is not the person who you are talking to now, and don't shoot the messenger. Don't treat every disagreement like it's a challenge to your authority or your intellect or your person. Just kind of let it roll, okay? If you feel like you were offended, go home and punch a pillow. Some surprises that may come in. Someone in your wider circle may offer a very, very interesting opportunity or piece of information that you weren't expecting. This could be zeroed in, depending on your chart, on work, family, romance, depends on your own personal chart. Strongly encourage you, if you want, you can send me some questions or we can have a reading together. I can do some looking up on your chart. I don't offer astrology as a standalone just yet because I don't feel that confident yet, but I will add some astrology into readings if you'd like to book with me privately. There's a number of selections at the link in the description of this video, and you can go over and pick a reading that is perfect for you. So, Taurus is up next. So the good thing, the North Node is moving through your career and public image sector. So you may feel called to do something different professionally, or jump into like a different component of your work. So an example of this, if you are a salesperson at, a particular company, you may go over into client retention, or you may go over into production or something like that. You're just going to do a little bit of a little shift. It's a need for the place that you work, and it's also a need for enriching you as an individual. What's some of the bad stuff that is going to come into play potentially this week? Private anxiety, but it's likely from exhaustion or an unresolved fiery kind of situation, an angry situation, a fight. Maybe you had a fight with somebody and you didn't come to a handshake at the end. So those things, that the private anxiety that you have from this is going to undermine your confidence. If you're exhausted, or if you are thinking about this argument that's unresolved or that you did not prove your point, could even be in a presentation at work, just so you know, it feels like your confidence is eroding. And that is not something that you are comfortable with, Taurus. So, do your best to kind of rest when you can. If there is an unresolved matter out there, you know what? You'll come around to it. Just let it go for now. Let it go. Let it go. So, what are some surprises? A public opportunity may come through technology, social media, or an unconventional, weird organization. Perhaps the cookie jar here with fortune cookies. It's not a traditional route. So, you may be on a chat board and somebody says, hey, we work in the same department at the same company, I've seen you before, and maybe you wind up with a promotion or a raise or something delightful like that. The main thing is that opportunity is not going to come through a traditional route, so pay attention to some weird messages that come to you in a weird way. Gemini, you are up next. So we are continuing the theme of the last couple of weeks, that education, publishing, traveling, teaching, researching, reaching a larger audience, expanding and letting people know what you think, getting your ideas to go further. This is something that's been going on for you for the last few weeks. This is great news. Jump in on it. Get in the kayak and go down that rapid. You can do it. Your ideas are going to travel further, faster if you get in the boat with them. Otherwise, they're just going to fly. So the bad news is that Mars in your money sector produces emotional spending. I want you to be super careful about that. This is something that I've said to you for the last 2 weeks on the astrology report. Mars in your money sector is going to stir up some, we got to get going on this. It's the only one. It's on sale. All of those things. So just be careful about that. Also, arguments about what you are worth kind of fall under this same thing. So what does that mean? That means that if you've been gunning for a raise for some time at work and you keep saying, I've got too much work and you're not paying me enough, too much work and you're not paying me enough, you can't get into this round and round with them again. You've got to make a move off that. Again, Gemini, if you guys want to talk about career change, I am great at career change. I am great at finding stuff. send me a request for a reading from my website, www.fortunecookiestarot.com. You can also sign up for the newsletter there. But you can book a reading with me there, and we can kind of go over some of the things in your charts, but we're going to do mostly a psychic reading. So hopefully you guys aren't struggling too much in the workplace. Surprises! So you may have a 180 about your beliefs about someone. It also could be about yourself, the direction that you thought you were going in, but there's gonna be a 180. And so what does that mean? Someone that you didn't like or did like is going to reveal something about themselves that's going to change your mind about them totally. So if we are in work relationships or personal primary relationships, it could be a revelation about them that's a non-negotiable for you. You know, you're gonna have to respond to that as needed. But this is a great opportunity for things to open up and be revealed, and it will be to your betterment later on. If it is something about the direction that you were heading, again, that would require a very careful and practiced hand for someone to kind of steer you in the right direction. If there are opportunities opening up for your wholesale life, we want to be careful about where we wind up at the end of all that. So that's it for now, Gemini. You guys are tricky Geminis. One of my best friends is a Gemini. It's cool. Cancer. Mars is still in Cancer, guys, but it's giving us courage and momentum and the willingness to advocate for ourselves. Cancer, some of us, we do like to talk, but some of us don't like to advocate for ourselves. We love to advocate for others. We like to make everybody else feel great, but sometimes it's a little bit hard for us to do it. You may feel like you're on roller skates being pushed down a long, slick hallway. Just get with it. Like I said earlier, Mars in Cancer, it's not the most comfortable position for us, but we got to take it. We can't get out of it. Bad news. This Mars in Cancer is going to make you reactive too. So make sure you're reacting to what someone actually said and not what their behavior reminds you of. We've got a little bit of reminiscent behavior here, and we may see you flare up, Cancer, when something feels like something from the past, okay? Something bad from the past. Surprises. A financial agreement, debt, inheritance, or emotionally complicated attachment may need to be renegotiated. So we should always be looking at our finances and trying to make them a little bit better. But in this case, you know, this doesn't sound so good. So Cancer, wake up, drink your coffee, make sure you're on the ball for this week because it could get weird. Where are my lions at? Leos, as we are exiting your season, relationships become mirrors. The right people around you will help you build an authentic and well-presented identity. They will not just applaud the identity you have performed. Now remember, Meghan Markle is a Leo. So hopefully she is going to surround herself with less sycophantic people who just want to warm their hands by that semi-royal fire. And they're going to tell her, you are really headed in a wrong direction. Let's see if we can right this ship. The bad news for my Leos, the South Node is entering Leo. And this begins an extended release of ego attachments. Also some outdated roles. And the need to receive constant validation. Leos, we know you love the little scratch behind the ears. Surprises for you guys this week. Someone may stop playing a supporting character in your story and may present their own needs and ambitions. This could create a little bit of friction with you because you guys like to be up front and in the spotlight. So a little curious about this. Maybe we're going to see some changes with Harry and Meghan here. Maybe Meghan's going to realize that Harry needs to step up a little bit. Let me know what you think about that, Leos. Let's talk about Virgos. Sun entering Virgo this week, welcoming in the Virgo week or Virgo season this weekend. Mercury follows on Tuesday. So your clarity, confidence, ability to communicate are all returning. You are stepping into your power as we get into your season. So, what is the bad news here, Virgo? The bad news is that you may discover how much invisible labor, emotional baggage you've been carrying. You've literally been paddling upstream. You've been fighting through the tides and the course of the river, and now you may decide that you have to offload some of the stuff that has been holding you back. So that clarity, confidence, and communication that we talked about, and the good stuff, just be a little bit careful about it, because your ability to communicate is going to be crystal clear. So if you tell someone, I can't stand the way that you breathe, and I can't stand the way that you walk, and I can't stand the way you conduct yourself, they're going to hear every single word. So just be careful that you're not injuring any egos as you go through as you enter into your season. So surprises for you guys. There may be a realization that changes your plans before anybody else around you realizes it. So if you are in a collective family or something like that, or if you're a business owner and all of a sudden you realize the business is going to go in a different direction, let everybody know gently. Remember, your ability to communicate is really going to be spot on. People are going to hear you. You're just going to have to be careful about how you construct that message that you're going to get over to people. So, interesting week for you, Virgo. Libra, Venus in Libra is going to increase Libra's charm, visibility, and ability to attract cooperation. Libras, those of you that are going out on the prowl and tomcatting, you're going to be able to land every single mark. People are extremely receptive to you this week and this weekend. The bad is that your people-pleasing tendencies are going to be much harder to maintain. Harmony is going to depend on your silence and not genuine harmony. So on one hand, you're going to be going out to all the clubs, hitting it, quitting it, and having a good time. But on the other side, there are going to be some people that want you just to sit down, shut up, and make them happy. So just try and balance out those two sides. But we know, Libra, you like to balance things. Surprises. Some of you may be coming out of the friend zone. Some of you may be taking people off the bench and out of the friend zone. Relationships may become much, much clearer when you stop sugarcoating and smoothing everything over. So on one hand, you may realize that relationships that have a little bit of friction may not be working out, but relationships that are very copacetic and smooth and fun, like friendships, may become romantic. So you've got some interesting stuff going on in the love chart. Scorpio, you're up next. Scorpio, your professional life is still highly visible. It's been for the last couple of weeks as well. But this nodal shift is going to ask you to build a stronger private foundation beneath all of that success. So what does that mean for professionals that are sitting in C-suites or executive suites, directors, managers, those kinds of things? Get a ride or die team and have that ride or die team there before people start going to war with you on the outside. So when there is high success at work, there is also covetability, and we will get some people in professional organizations or even quasi-professional organizations who will actually covet what you have and try and knock the legs right out from under you. This is why you need a lieutenant team around you that is going to make sure that they catch any strays before they get too close to home. The bad news is that you may become fixated on finding all of the details, having like a whole dossier on people before allowing yourself to act. Don't do that. You don't have to wait. You know, sometimes somebody introduces themselves to us and we got to believe what they are. Sometimes we got to do that. But you're going to have all those lieutenants around you, so you're going to do just fine. Surprises. Your family, housing, or your developments in your private life, like vacations and acquisitions, may change what professional success means to you. So if there's a diminishing or a growth in any of those, you may have to adjust what success means to you. And Scorpios, I know you all like to be at the tippy top of everything. So just kind of make those adjustments as easily as possible. Sagittarius, spelt with 3 T's, or 2 T's, I'm sorry, I always leave out the second T. Your voice is becoming much more influential. This is a good thing. Writing, teaching, commentary, reviews, digital media, it's going to connect you with a whole new audience. So if you are blogging about, I don't know, hot sauce, boiled eggs, I don't know, whatever it is, get out there, keep doing it. See if you can tap into a new fan base. This is going to become your voice will be very fluent and fluid. Influential, fluent, and fluid. Write those 3 words down, put them on a Post-it, stick them on your computer this week. It's going to do you well. The bad news is be careful about speaking with certainty before you have verified the facts. This is something that social media people need to do on the reg. We need to cross-reference any stories that come through or any rumors that have happened. The Hayden Panettiere thing is one that I saw a couple of people speak before they knew her whole story. There were some people that attributed her ex-fiance to the DV that had happened with the current boyfriend. It's my understanding they were still currently together, but maybe not in a relationship. I don't know. But I saw a couple of social media accounts that had attributed the DV to her ex-fiance, and it's my understanding that there was nothing like that with Vladimir Klitschko. So I actually like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a cool dude. Does a lot of good things in Ukraine with the money that he's made. So some surprises that we have coming up for Sagittarius this week. Information that arrives casually. So it could be on a Post-it. Like I said, just write something on a Post-it. It could be a clip, a small conversation. It could be a voice note. It may lead to a much bigger story in your world, or something that is much more impactful in your world. So keep an eye out for those little itty-bitty messages. Capricorn, the sun entering Virgo helps you see a much larger picture and develop a sensible long-term plan. Virgo actually is a very gentle influence on Capricorn, who's usually little tough and trying to work. The bad news is that your relationships may feel heated or demanding. Somebody may be tired of receiving the practical solution when they are asking for emotional acknowledgement. I am married to a Capricorn, and he had to take some time when we first got together and understand that sometimes when I am complaining about one of my friends or about a situation or about not having the right coffee pods, which I had earlier, it's just asking for emotional acknowledgement and not a practical solution. A lot of us know the practical solution. Sometimes we just want a bitch. But surprises for you, Capricorn. A change involving money or shared resources may free you from an unhealthy obligation. So very cool stuff there. Aquarius, the North Node is entering Aquarius. So this is a beginning of a really powerful period of reinvention, visibility, and personal growth for our Aquarians. My Aquarian is off at college right now, and he is entering this odd period where he's trying to figure out how much responsibility he really has. That was one of the things that he said in the days before we took him off to school. He said, I'm just realizing I'm going to be like completely on my own out there. And we were like, yeah, you're going to be completely out on your own. But he's close enough that he can come home. In fact, he got sick this weekend and he did come home. So it was very nice to have him here and do a little bit of mothering. He also got his hair cut. He was a little shaggy. So when all the co-eds move in on the 19th and the 20th, he will be looking his best. So the bad news for the Aquarians, you cannot continue to define yourself according to other people's expectations. I can't even say that. Even if the expectations once benefited you. So, you know, we do evolve, and that's why people drift apart or you know, go on to do other things or leave places of work. Sometimes we outgrow the situation that we're in. And for my Aquarius, he definitely outgrew being a little kid, and he is stepping into a grander world of being a man. So you know, I still want him to be a little boy. I don't, but you know, he's my baby. They're both my babies, but you know, he may be trying to grow up a little bit, and I may have some different expectations. So it may be that, it may be the music thing. Who knows? We'll find out. We'll find out in a few weeks. But some surprises. Aquarius, a relationship could change very quickly when you begin behaving like the person that you're becoming rather than the person that everyone remembers and expects. And that, I think, is some pointed astrology for my Aquarian. So, interesting. Moving on to Pisces. Pisces, the good news, you're approaching the lunar eclipse in Pisces, so it's deeply personal to you, and it's you should be preparing to culminate, clarify, or release things in your world. So do the work now, Pisces. Do the work now. In fact, I'm going to drop my individual clips of this in reverse so that Pisces gets done first. The bad news, your sensitivity is extremely high, but intuition is also. You know, so you may be emotionally sensitive, but your intuition is going to be very dialed up too. Fear sometimes imitates intuition when you're exhausted. So just be a little bit careful of that. If you're tired, take a few breaths and just kind of let that intuition pulse in you and ride that wave. And then you'll get those messages nice and easy. That's one of the exercises I do with my psychics when they do feel frightened by the guided meditation, getting into that relaxed state. Some people are so wound up, they don't like to relax like that. But I tell them, just feel the pulse, like whoomp, whoomp. Feel the pulse of the information, and it starts to beat with your heart. You start to feel that rhythm in the energy that's around you, and then the intuition, the vision or the noise that you hear that psychic is going to come in these puffs of air or puffs of energy that come at you. So just be careful, but that's only going to happen when you're exhausted. If you need coaching on that, let me know. fortunecookiestarot@gmail.com. You can send me an email. I will help you out. Surprises. A secret or unconscious pattern or hidden source of stress may finally be uncovered for you. It becomes manageable in that moment. So embrace that. If you get a revelation of some sort, you can gasp and clutch your pearls for a second, but it's going to become manageable. So don't be freaked out by that. It's going to be some good stuff. So don't sweat it, Pisces. Everything is awesome. And that wraps up our 12 signs. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that part of it. We are moving on to our celebrity focus as promised. This is part of my practice, just so that you guys know. This is part of me learning astrology is I am doing charts for different celebrities and different public figures so that I can kind of see what was going on with them. Now, Jared Leto was born December 26, 1971 at 2:36 p.m. in Bossier City, I think that's how we say it, Louisiana. If anyone's here from Louisiana, let me know in the chat. So that gives him a Capricorn moon, Capricorn sun, Aries moon, Taurus rising, Venus in Aquarius, Mars in Aries, Pluto in Libra, and Aquarius in midheaven. So I want to go back to my Capricorn just for a second, and reminder that they are going to see a larger picture and a sensible long-term plan. Relationships may feel heated or demanding, and they may be forcing a practical solution when they should be just giving emotional acknowledgement. And also some shared resources, some changes involved in that may free him from an unhealthy obligation. So his birth time did get an A rating from the Astro Data Bank. Astro Data Bank is one of the places that you can go. It's reasonably well sourced is what the A rating gives. So Leto and 30 Seconds to Mars have long played with cult-like imagery with their fans and the Mars Island events. The branding should have been kept separate from these serious misconduct allegations that now surround him. So recent reporting has multiple women that have made multiple allegations involving S-word misconduct, including women who said that they were teenagers at the time. Now, Leto has categorically denied any of these charges. He's called the accusations false. It's not established guilt. I mean, these are things that are just starting to come out. There have been some anecdotal tweets and posts about him as well that people are going back in time and looking at. He's spent years, Jared Leto has spent years cultivating this really mysterious, like it's almost like a messiah image around himself and his fans. So Mars Island, like everyone was going there, they're paying a bunch of money, and they were like wearing these all white outfits. I actually had an all white outfit on when I went to move Angus in, and I said, oh, I'm wearing my cult wear. But calling the fandom who are paying to be a part of that a cult, it at one point seemed like, kind of goofy. Oh, he's like running a cult over there. But now that they have these serious allegations, the branding is it's landing differently. So let's look at some of this astrology. And if you guys don't know who Jared Leto is, he was in the original Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Achilles movie. He was also the beautiful fighter in Fight Club. That was my introduction to him. 30 Seconds to Mars is an amazing band. He's an amazing singer. He's an amazing frontman. They have a song called The Kill, and I am learning it on my cello. I haven't played my cello in like a week because I've been really busy, but I'll actually put a link to the song in the description of this video because I think everybody should hear it. He's got an amazing, powerful voice. I love those big voices. So let's talk about his chart. So Capricorn, Sun, square Mars and Pluto. So it's an extraordinarily ambitious astrology here. It produces focus, endurance, reinvention. He's going to have to lean into that here. It's also a tremendous desire to control one's destiny. And I do think that the whole concept of Mars Island is something that Jared Leto and 30 Seconds to Mars kind of developed. I think they really turned that into something. This was a manifestation that, they really wanted that very different approach. My good friend Rob Fuzz, you guys have seen him in the chat here. He works with Runaway Tours with Bon Jovi, and those are tour packages where you can purchase a package of shows, hotel rooms, meet and greets with Bon Jovi, and it's a really cool thing. I've never done it. Rob has a great time doing. He's also a photographer for them. But I think this was a similar experience with Mars Island. You could go, you could interact with the band, you could go have some respite and have some fun with them. So I think, the manifestation of that is a pretty cool idea, and leveraging that fandom into dollars, but it's also giving the fans a much closer and upfront kind of experience with the band. However, this astrology, the Capricorn Sun square Mars Pluto, the shadow side of it is power struggles, domination, and it can erupt into anger when it's challenged, and it's difficulty accepting that other people are actually people and not just components of your ambition. So I think part of that is the problem, that some of this fandom were considered fodder and components to the end goal, which is to have a robust career. So Aries moon and Mars. So emotionally, he may be instinctive, impatient, and highly responsive to pursuit, excitement, and conquest. Aries energy wants what it wants right now. They don't go out like our Knight of Wands doesn't go out and grab a whole bunch of friends to go build a treehouse. Our Knight of Wands in tarot, who's very Aries energy, he's like ultimate Aries energy. The Emperor is also Aries energy. The Knight of Wands goes out, gets the material, gets his toolkit, and shows up and starts building. When everybody else is rolling in with their coffee and crullers, he's already up in the tree building. So with maturity, does this tamp down a little? Meh, not really. Maturity is going to require understanding that animal desire does not automatically put us in a place because I want it more. It's a very Rocket Raccoon energy. I wanted it more. This is an astrological theme. I just want to make that clear. This isn't a factual conclusion about anything about what he does or how he conducts himself in the whole Mars Island situation. But I do think that there is an impatience, impetuousness with him. I want it. This is the kind of guy who, if you hook up with him, he's going to grab you. He's going to put you up against the wall. He is going to give you a kiss like you've never had before. And he's going to want you to melt because he's stepping to you with all this fire. So Venus in Aquarius near his midheaven. So his relationships, attractiveness, and unconventional image are directly connected to his public identity. So any revolution of his self or how he's conducting himself privately is going to change wholesale if his public identity changes. So we won't see the effects of one or the other without the other part. So if he like all of a sudden has like a religious revival and like finds God and becomes a born again Christian, like that's legit. It's going to be legit. He benefits from appearing roguish or different or special, unattainable. He likes that kind of messianic glamour on himself. He likes it. He wants to be outside the ordinary social rules. He likes exceptionalism. So, I'm not surprised that he brought that fan community. And I'm curious if, like, Charles Manson, Jim Jones maybe had something similar. Now, I'll have to look that up after this. This explains why he has pulled that fandom as a moat around him almost. He really wants not the actor viewer performer, viewer, concert goer. He wants more than that. He wants to create unbreakable connections with his audience. So it's very interesting that he did that. And I don't think this is like a Grateful Dead energy either. Like the Grateful Dead, like I don't even know what was going on there. One day I'll do a chart on them because for 40 years they had a whole like nation following them around. I was part of it at one point. I did a summer following the Grateful Dead around. It was fun. But I think it's very curious. So again, that's Venus in Aquarius near his midheaven, and I wonder if we're going to see some similar stuff in some other charismatic figures, historical figures. I'm wondering if we'll see some of that. Maybe even like Genghis Khan. I don't know. I'll look it up. Taurus rising is giving him durability, physical magnetism. He is not a bad looking guy. Not a bad looking guy. His job is to look good, act well. It's also, it gives him longevity in preservation of an image. So again, like the whole Mars Island thing, like this was going to be a thing for him. This was what he was going to lean into. Taurus can hold on to these positions well, even after circumstances require change or require a different fit. So I'm hoping that he's not going to lean too much into that Taurus rising with this whole thing. So what is smacking him around right now? Pluto conjunct natal Venus in Aquarius. This is the central transit in his chart right now. Pluto's moving across his natal Venus, which is the planet of relationships, your attractiveness, women, desire, money, all of that stuff. Pluto, unfortunately, exposes whatever has been hidden within those subjects. Public appeal and values also falls under this. So when Pluto's going through there, it can create a reflex, a reaction to these revelations. So it can bring on obsession, that Taurus digging down. It can highlight like power imbalances, or even those power imbalances can be flexed a little bit. Coercive dynamics can come out as well. So, it's an opportunity for reputational transformation, and it can destroy the old patterns that we see there, especially the old relationship patterns. I am hoping that he's going to jump on this and say, you know what, I am going to go volunteer at my local women's clinic, and I'm going to kind of set all this right, and Mars Island's going to be a safe haven for bunny rabbits or something like cats, Jared. I don't know if you're a cat guy. Put some cats on that island, man. But because his Venus is close to his Aquarius midheaven, none of this is going to remain private. It's going to be out in the open. So I think we're going to hear more this week. Relationship questions become career and public image questions, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I'm hoping that some of the gals that have been on the receiving end of not solicited behavior from him, if they get together, this is going to be a powder keg. So Mars in Cancer is opposing his Capricorn sun. So Mars is almost exactly opposite his natal sun this week. So this is going to be confrontation, defensiveness, anger, challenge, and the sensation that people are attacking the identity that he has worked so hard to construct. Again, like the Messiah of Mars Island, this is crumbling down. We're going to look at some cards by the end of this, so don't you worry. We're going to see if we can get some direction for him. I do like Jared Leto. I hope that he is not as terrible as everyone is suggesting right now. The danger for him right now, he is getting very, very defensive. I can feel it building in him. I'm already tuning into him. The danger is that when he reacts emotionally, when he should be more disciplined, legally careful. Stop sending text messages. Stop saying things on lines that may be recorded. Where he is required to show some humility, he may react with arrogance, and that is going to be tricky for him. So be careful about that, Jared Leto, so we can have more 30 Seconds to Mars music coming soon to a theater near me. Neptune is approaching his natal Mars in Aries. So Neptune can dissolve the boundaries around Mars. Mars is the planet of sex, pursuit, it's anger, it's action, it's war, it's all of those things. And Neptune can kind of soften those boundaries around it. So at its height, this can redirect his personal desire and kind of move all of that actual energy into art or spirituality or service. But at its lowest, it can represent confusion around what he wants, blurred boundaries. I think there's a lot of blurred boundaries there. Self-deception. So, Jared Leto, I'm going to tell you, check yourself all this week. Just check yourself. Make sure that you are your best counsel. You don't counsel with other people just yet, unless there's confidentiality clause in there. One of the things I want to tell him is make sure that you look at the perspective of how people are perceiving this. Not just your fans, not just your ride or die fans, but how regular people walking around on two legs on the street are seeing you as an individual. I would hate for this Jared Leto 30 Seconds to Mars turn into like another Nexium or something like that. We just don't want to see that. We're not, again, we're talking about the energetic terrain that he is kind of rumbling through. So, these are the things that, you can look these up. They absolutely are just in the chart, and with the information that I have, I'm advising. Uranus opposes his natal Neptune. So Uranus wakes people up. It's your cup of coffee in the sky. Neptune maintains dreams and myths and illusions. It puts us into this lovely state. So this particular transit can abruptly rupture carefully crafted mythology. So the public, I think, sees things very differently. And in this kind of a transit, it would say the public is going to see things very differently. I think it is the perception change of his fan base. I think his fan base is starting to see things a little bit differently. And I'm not talking about concert goers. I'm talking about the ones that were in the inner circle, the ones that, maybe, I don't know if he has a Discord group, but the ones that were in a Discord group or a WhatsApp chat, or the ones that have gone to Mars Island. Their perception is going to possibly be changed about this. What they understood, the main cause and drive of the event, of the place, it's probably going to be a little bit different. So it'll be impossible to restore this old mystique that was there. It's almost like, and I reference this scene all the time in the movie Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. Elizabeth Hurley plays the devil, and Brendan Fraser is like making deals with the devil, trying to make his life better. And she has a club. She owns a club. And when she first brings Brendan Fraser in there, when she's, courting him and cultivating him, the club is filled with beautiful people, and everybody's dancing and having a great time. And everybody's super sexy, and there's girls in the cage. They're dancing. They're having a great time. And then later on, after he's tried a few lifetimes, he goes in, and it's the morning, and everyone in the club is like a zombie, and like they're like all beat up, and they're ugly and rotting, and she's still like chipper as could be, and just like, it was in your contract. So that kind of thing. Once Brendan Fraser went in there, he's now realizing that it is all a glamour, and that she's offering him a facade and not a real life. Some of the people that are involved with the Mars Island and the whole fandom of 30 Seconds to Mars and Jared Leto, may have that glamour completely disappear for them. And they may start to see what is actually happening there. Again, not saying that there is anything happening there, that anything nefarious is happening there, but they may start to see what they thought was there is not actually there. North Node entering Aquarius also activates his Venus and midheaven. So again, this is relationships, fandom, and his public image. Aquarius belongs to the collective. So fans and the wider community are no longer merely an audience. They become part of the show. They become witnesses, also investigators. They become a big part of it. So we're going to move on to some tarot in a second, see if we can advise him how to correct his pathway. So some questions for us, like one big question is, did Jared Leto build a persona that has now become impossible to control? And is the collective about to reclaim the power that his birth once handed to him? So we're going to bring up my card view. I'm going to make it nice and big for you kids. There we go. So where does Jared Leto actually stand right now? That's a happy guy. He's fine. Nothing can touch him right now. Is there a serious moment under this? He does have moments. I think he is living in a beautiful bubble of denial. Does he fail to understand the seriousness of this moment? He's turned his back on it. He has turned his back on it. What part of his public persona is now working against him? He's got to stop working altogether. He's got to stop working on visibility. Go invisible, Jared Leto. Disappear. Disappear, dude. What truth or information is approaching him? So somebody is going to let down their guard on this. Someone, I think one of the finger pointers is going to dial back her story. If he is sweet to her, she will dial back that story. And, you know, that is what it is. I really can't say that. So we may see somebody who says, you know what? I was misled. You know, I was talking to some of the gals, and I was misled, and we're not going in this direction. What must he do if he wants to navigate this whole situation responsibly? I'm going to pull these up because we're going to get some extra cards on this. What must he do if he wants to navigate responsibly? Justice in reverse. Four of Swords. Pull the plug on Mars Island and just get back to writing music and performing. Justice in reverse. I think if there are any legal claims against him right now, I don't know if anyone has filed anything officially with like court dates and those kinds of things, but the court stuff is going to be delayed for some time. And what he should do is cease and desist. No more Mars Island. No more chit-chatting with girls. Find yourself a lovely girlfriend and just stick with her. And that King of Wands is to just go about your work. Go about your work. Do what you are passionate about. Write, act, dance, sing, scream. You could go have sex, but do it with one person. Don't do it with a whole bunch. You don't have to go to the smorgasbord. So, where does his road lead from the energy that is in place right now. Huh. Now that's very interesting. Because Eight of Swords in reverse, it's almost like he gets out of trouble. He fishes right through this and promises to do better in the future. There, we get the cat sanctuary. Thank you, Jared Leto. If you make that a cat sanctuary, I will be there. I will be there to scoop the litter boxes. So I want to ask one more super, super important question here. What is the greatest danger the underlying allegations are presenting to him? So I do think that is not ceasing. When someone says ceasing, I think that is one that, consent was an issue. Now, that's the story that's coming. I'm not saying that he's doing this, but that's the story that is coming. How should he respond to this? If he is still in conversations with a person who is saying that or claiming that or saying that to him, he needs to separate from them. And that means no, naughty. No, naughty. No. Don't do it. Don't do it. So if there is somebody out there who's claiming this right now and he is trying to negotiate with them or have a conversation with them that says, no, like, dude, like, this totally went down differently. Like, I thought it was a different situation. He needs to stop trying and just say, okay, you know what? Like, let's just go our separate ways. I don't see a lot of pentacles, which I think is a good thing, because I don't think that any of these people are requesting financial restoration as a result of it. So that is really all I have to say about Jared Leto. Jared Leto, guys. So let me know what you think about him. So that is going to be it, guys. I am going to be live on Thursday night. We're going to add a Thursday night live. So be sure to come on back on Thursday, 7 o'clock. I will be here. And then Friday morning at 11 a.m., we are going to have our members only private live. And then at 1 o'clock on Friday, we are going to have our collective live. So good stuff coming up this week. No live this Saturday. I've got Lulubelle going to school next week. So I want to make sure that I get everything packed up and we've got all her laundry done. I'll have a couple of days that I'm out next week, but I will try and front load my recordings for you guys. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed this astrology for the week of August 18th. Remember, if you want to sit down and talk about your chart or talk about your future, you can always hit the link and book an appointment with me down below. We've got some cool stuff that's going to be coming in for the spooky season. I am working on our Psychic Spy off YouTube events where I teach you how to be psychic, and I'm also going to work on a bundle for the Halloween season. Halloween season is busy for me and it's booking now, so if you have been waiting to get a reading or get some time alone with me, book it now, because everybody's coming in. It seems like August gets here and everybody starts thinking about Halloween, but I am going to think about editing now, and I'm going to finish up this video. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I hope you have a fabulous day. I will see you in the future.